And welcome to Jeanna Brown Podcast, Smart Wisdom. And today we're going to talk about being at the table. Now, this is a segment that will be added and incorporated into my regular segments, but I felt led to have a conversation about what at the table means and how you can get involved. So, being at the table has several different connotations. Being at the table for me is being at your kitchen table, having a meal with your family, eating, talking, and learning about what the day is, right? And I feel like today with our society, we're so busy, we're so disconnected, we're so technology driven. I thought it would be a great idea to get your input to hear about how you are with your families and being at the table. So I remember when I was younger, I might be dating myself, but being at Sunday dinners at grandma's house, right? And those were very precious moments because everything was like the finest at Sunday dinner at grandma's house. You would set the table, you would put the forks on the right side and the knife and the spoon on the other side. You would have your napkins folded, whether it was cloth or paper napkins. You would have your glass in front of your plate for your drinks, whether it was tea or water or whatever, juice. And we would be at the table. And it would go as far as serving bowls at the table. We would have a bowl for the vegetables. We would have a platter for the meat. We would have a salad bowl, other vegetables. We would have a bread basket. We were at the table. And I just want to get back to that. I just want to get back to that at the table. And let me tell you why. Being at the table with two parents, one parent, grandparents, siblings, cousins, aunties, uncles. And when I was thinking about this at the table, I was thinking on a daily basis. But if we have to start with bite size once a week at the table, then let's do that, shall we? So I want to hear about how your at the um, table experiences are and how it has been changing you or how it has changed or how it has improved maybe conversations, um, etc., etc. Now this is the real reason. When you combine being at the table at home, going to school, graduating from high school, transitioning into college, then there's other tables. But I'm not there yet. We're still at the kitchen table, the table at home, okay? It builds confidence, it builds intimacy with the family. You know what is going on. It builds a level of trust when you can share what is going on and you can give feedback, you can laugh, you can tell stories, you can share some challenges, you can share some ridiculousness that has happened, um, whether it's the parent or the kid or whoever. It just brings a togetherness that you can bond. And I feel like we're missing the bonding part of being at the table. When you learn as a child to be at the table at home, conversation, people are listening to you. You can articulate, you can speak, you can talk, you can share your ideas and opinions. When you can do that at home at the table, It brings a level of confidence when you are outside of the house and you can bring your opinions outside of the house, and you will have a level of, you know, of comfortable ability, if that's a word, right? So you get my point, right? So if you haven't been doing this, I encourage you to start. And if you have been doing this, and this is already a part of your natural uh, family dynamics, then I want to hear about it. How you look forward to it, how it impacts what you learn from one another. I want to hear about it. Okay? And then you transition into going after high school into the workforce and into the college or apprentice areas of your life, or you go into, yeah, the workforce, college, all of that, right? So you're transitioning to different table settings, right? They may be welcoming, they may be challenging, they may be isolation, there may be um, different things happen when you're at different tables outside of the house, right? And I feel like being at the table at home prepares you more, you're more equipped for being at the table outside of the home. So let's transition, shall we? Being at the table, at the boardroom table, right? What does that look like? What does that sound like? When you're at the boardroom table, no matter who you are, you're there for a reason. You're there for a purpose. And many of us have not experienced being at the boardroom table. But at the boardroom table, there are expectations, there are responsibilities, there are decisions that are made, there are conversations that are heard, and there is input that is expected of you when you are at the table of a boardroom table. And so we have this kind of cliche-ish talk sometimes about not being able to get to one of those boardroom tables. But let's talk about and imagine that you are at the boardroom table and what it is you will do once you get there. Now, I envision, I've been at these tables in the past, um, sometimes there's camaraderie and there's welcoming. They welcome you. The other members of the board welcome you. There's conversation, there's dialogue. You have a chairman, you sit down, you talk business, and you adjourn, right? Sometimes you're at those boardroom tables and you're not invited or you're not welcome by the majority, right? And so that will feel a little different, right? And you may have a little bit more responsibility, but you also may have some resistance, internal resistance, or board member resistance, right? Nonetheless, however it all played out, you're there at the boardroom table. And being there is a privilege. It really is. And I'd like to hear about your experiences at being at those tables also. I would like to share with the globe about how being at the table, whether it's at the kitchen table or the boardroom table, has shaped you, impacted you, hindered you, improved you, encouraged you, all the different things that it has. Now, don't send me like a dissertation because I'm not going to read it. So please be as brief or concise as you possibly can. And having said that, I would like to share one of your stories to our listening audience with Jeanna Brown Podcast, Smart Wisdom. Yes, 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 because it is smart, it is wise to be at the table, no matter which table you are at. But it is important for you to speak your voice, speak your truth, speak your opinion, and for those to be heard. And I think we miss that part of it. When you're at the table with your family, are you the one who talks and shouts and is always being heard? Or are you the one that always may say a noise and then everyone laughs or shuts you down? Nonetheless, everyone has the right to have their voice heard. And the more that we can communicate our opinions, our voice without being shut down, I think better listening occurs, more insight happens, more learning occurs, and we can, by default, somehow be a little bit smarter and a little bit wiser. To me, it's, natural, a natural flow. But if you've thought of this in the past and you have been wanting to kind of get in alignment with this conversation and being at the table, whether you're an executive CEO, entrepreneur, a solopreneur, a creative, and family, you may be a parent, man or woman, doesn't matter. Having your voice heard, being at the table, being seen is what I'm trying to drive home. And when you start young, when you start in a safe place, then things, you will evolve into something more outside of that safety net environment. So that's all I wanted to say on At the Table. So you will have more conversations within the segments of Jeanna Brown Podcast, Smart Wisdom, here on YouTube. Bye for now.